everybody. Sunday morning in Hong Kong. So we're going to talk about two things today. One that you're probably familiar with, which is DeFi, and what Kava does in DeFi. And then one that you may be a little bit less familiar with, which is AI. And we're going to go briefly through the AI stack as it exists today, and then how that AI stack is going to be applied specifically to the crypto industry. Where's my stuff here? All right, so high-level intro to Kava. So Kava's been around as a blockchain for about 4 years. It launched in Q4 of 2019 as a Binance IEO, and it started as a launch pad, and it started doing DeFi before DeFi was a real term. And over time, this ecosystem developed as we saw new types of DeFi projects come on, and eventually, originally this was created as a Cosmos blockchain. So this is one of the first major Cosmos blockchains that released with IBC, actually before the hub was launched. And then an EVM was then put on top of this Cosmos blockchain that allowed for a widespread amount of users and applications to come on, build, and seamlessly connect between the Cosmos ecosystem and the Ethereum ecosystem. So as a result, Kava's been able to secure some of the largest DeFi partnerships in the space. So USDT native integration. Tether chose Kava as the official provider of USDT to all of the Cosmos. So any Cosmos chain that's going to consume native USDT through IBC is doing that through Kava. That happened about 2 quarters ago, about 160 million USDT issued on Kava today. BitGo. So BitGo chose Kava for a WBTC native integration, which just recently launched. That's up and live. And then a big thing with Kava and its DeFi ecosystem is about native assets and native liquidity. And so when you have native assets, it's important to have distribution of those assets. And so these native assets like USDT and WBTC are now integrated into the largest distribution partners like Binance and many other exchanges, as well as Stargate and Axelar, so that users can move their assets natively from the Ethereum ecosystem to the Cosmos ecosystem and on the Kava ecosystem without having to worry about bridge hacks and things like that. Just some high-level stuff about Kava. So it's the 5th largest USDT chain that's actively natively supported. 8th largest ecosystem by number of dApps deployed. We really did see a lot of dApps come onto Kava once the EVM was launched a little under 2 years ago. It's only one of 3 chains that has both a native USDT integration and native BTC integration. You need to think about what the other 2 are. It's Ethereum and Tron. So it's very difficult to get these providers to want to see the value of a chain, deploy those native assets on the chain, and build those integrations with the chain. It's bridged about 2.5 billion in assets since inception. A lot of this was actually done through Binance Chain, now transferring over to Bridge with BSC as they're sunsetting the BNB chain. Bunch of assets on chain, low transaction costs due to the nature of it being this Cosmos SDK based chain, and then this innovative cross-chain structure. Basically what I was talking about before, where Kava is the only chain that allows native assets on Ethereum to flow through to the Cosmos ecosystem in a seamless way, packaged with some of the largest bridge providers like Axelar and Stargate. So the Kava DeFi ecosystem, large and growing ecosystem with a bunch of large integrations, as well as blue chip dApps that have deployed on it, and a bunch of native apps, native dApps that have deployed on it. Okay, so that's all stuff that you guys are familiar with, DeFi. Now something that you may be a little bit less familiar with, AI. So what is this AI thing? People kind of keep talking about AI. It's growing. It's happening over here. There's a lot of crypto projects that are talking about using AI in their crypto project. So what is this AI thing in the general sense? And then how can this be applied to crypto? So just at a high level, cursory overview, AI ecosystem has 3 main layers. The first layer is the application layer. So the killer app here is your chat GPTs. So these are large language models that power these chatbots. And so this is chat GPT, Google's Gemini, Twitter's XAI, Prometheus, or Anthropic's Claude. And then the layer beneath that is cloud computing and on-prem compute. This is the stuff that those applications need to use to train their models. This is like Google Cloud, CoreWeave, Lambda, companies like this, Azure. And then underneath that is the hardware itself, the chips itself. So this is like NVIDIA, AMD. So just quickly diving into the application layer, like what is this application layer? What are they actually doing? You see a lot of just images of like some Android like lady reaching for something. These application layers consist of AI companies that are performing, they're training models and integrating these models with products. Companies like OpenAI apply a variety of techniques, a popular one being reinforcement learning with human feedback. This is a little diagram of that, RLFH, on transformer models. And the key is that they take all of these different techniques and stack them together to make a more and more intelligent model that then powers end user applications like ChatGPT. And we were looking at this at 2012, 2013. And at the time, there was interesting things that you could do with these models, but the amount of weights or parameters were only so much that you could just kind of do some interesting things. And it turns out that only after parameter count hits a large enough number were these things intelligent enough to actually be useful. So this means that the bigger the models, the more intelligent the system is. And the useful thing is there doesn't seem to be a cap on the scaling for the amount of parameters that can be fit into these models as long as the compute is there. And this is a graph of basically over the last 5 years how the parameter weights, the number of parameters has grown exponentially over time and is going to continue to do so. So that's the application layer. And finally, these large companies, some of the world's largest companies, as well as startups alike, are competing viciously to create bigger and bigger models, smarter and smarter AIs that can be benchmarked on a number of different evaluations to compare them to each other. That's the application layer. Application layer needs to train their models. The way that they train their models is using cloud compute or on-prem compute. The main thing to take away from this is that it's not the case that they're training on a bunch of AWS boxes in various regions. The key thing here is if you want to train a gigantic model, you have to wire up a shit ton of GPUs together using high throughput, low latency connections to basically make one massive GPU to train one massive model. It requires a significant amount of specialized knowledge to build these on-prem or cloud clusters. And just like as a note, something like the most recent version of ChatGPT was trained on 25,000 NVIDIA GPUs. So that's $200 million worth of GPUs that had to be utilized to train that model. So this is not small stakes stuff to be able to get these models to where they're at. And then finally, there's the hardware layer itself. So companies like NVIDIA and AMD, which create the GPUs, are competing to make more and more powerful GPUs. I was just at the NVIDIA GTC conference in San Francisco 2 weeks ago, where Jensen announced the newest version of the Blackwell chip, which represents a 1,000x increase in AI compute over the last 8 years, from 19 teraflops in 2016 to 20,000 teraflops this year. So at a high level, you have this industry where the model complexity and intelligence is growing exponentially. The compute, the cloud compute, is becoming more robust, and the chips themselves are growing exponentially in terms of their ability to power that compute and that intelligence. The result is this sector is growing massively, and it is going to be extended into nearly every industry. AI is coming to basically everything, including blockchain. So how does AI actually fit into the blockchain space? So at Kava, we're going to be launching Kava AI. Kava AI is a decentralized AI developed on the Kava network, and Kava AI powers a cross-chain AI marketplace. So a takeaway here is that you can indeed build a decentralized AI that's able to compete in terms of the number of modalities and benchmarks that it's able to attain with the largest AI applications and chatbots. So that's against GPT-4 right now, Gemini Ultra, and Grok 1. So this is developing an AI built on a blockchain to power a number of applications. And the first application that Kava AI is going to power is a robust decentralized chatbot, like ChatGPT and other end-user applications, where a user can come on, ask a question just like you would with ChatGPT. It'll give you an answer. You can tune that. That answer, and then you can go and actually deploy the thing. Capabilities of this Kava AI would include advanced reasoning across modalities. So just like any AI, a number of different modalities or ways in which you can ask it to do things, it will respond in reasonable ways. An important one when we're tuning this model for crypto is code generation. So the ability for a human to prompt it to generate or alter smart contract code in Solidity, for instance, that can then be used to deploy onto the Kava EVM and used for debugging complex code bases. Language processing, so the ability in a number of different languages, English, Chinese, Russian, whatever, to prompt this thing to pull real data and transaction history from smart contracts that have a ton of usage already on Kava. And then most importantly, decentralized development. So Kava AI stands in stark contrast to centralized AI development by major companies, in that Kava AI is completely open sourced and governed by the Kava community. This is going to be the first AI that is actually built and governed by a community, in contrast to these centralized AI developments that are completely closed source. It's all secret sauce, and they're not letting you know how this thing's being done, and they don't want to tell you how this thing's being done or where it's going. Very secretive. And then a natural thing then that you can do with this AI is just create extensions. So these are just hooks to be able to create a marketplace that leverages the Kava AI to allow users to discover, deploy, and consume a wide variety of applications that are built on top of this ecosystem. And so developers can easily create AI extensions to fit applications that are already run on Kava. So there's ease of deployment, seamlessly integrates to your existing Kava application, and it leverages the same advanced security that Kava needs to be able to build out to manage the hundreds of millions of assets that it moves around every day. Another really nice benefit about launching this marketplace on top of Kava is that it benefits from the existing cross-chain rails that Kava has already built out for Kava DeFi. So with the cross-chain architectures that already bolt into Kava, like IBC to the Cosmos ecosystem, as well as general message passing, which covers most of the Ethereum ecosystem, when a user creates a service on Kava's AI marketplace, that can be extended to anybody downstream in Cosmos, to the Cosmos Hub, Injective, Say, pick your favorite Osmosis, your favorite chain, can consume that service on the Cosmos side, as well as any Ethereum or L2 service can consume this using the same message passing framework that we already have. and it benefits from the distribution that Kava has already built out. I'm going to go through the end of this stuff quickly. Here's examples of how DeFi meets AI. So meme coin generation. So you as a user can now show up. Solana and Avalanche have done an excellent job of creating an ecosystem where people can launch things easily. This is going to even reduce the barrier to entry, where a user can chat with this chatbot, create meme coins, create the Solidity, deploy that. Same thing with NFTs. You can generate an NFT collection, tweak it, deploy it, and query a number of different dApps. Just finishing off here, reasons why Kava is building this AI. Kava has the resources to launch a decentralized AI that competes with centralized AI. So I was just at this NVIDIA GTC conference. 90% of those companies are not able to build AIs because it costs millions of dollars to train these things against GPUs. Kava's got a community pool with something like $450 million in liquid assets that it can use to be able to train a top-level AI. Kava has experience in building ecosystems, or built out a robust DeFi ecosystem. We can leverage that know-how for AI, and AI is value add to DeFi. Incentives for the developer community are going to go first towards building DeFi applications, and it's a new use case for the Kava token. Timeline. So it's really important that all of this is community driven. There are really fantastic AIs out there that exist today. The only value of Kava AI is that it is actually run and progressed by the community. So all of this is happening through proposals. The first Kava signaling proposal will be in early Q2. Subsequent funding proposals by the community for the Kava AI development, Kava AI marketplace instantiation and developer incentives, as well as a DePIN cloud network will come subsequently. And we invite you guys to join Kava in developing the most powerful decentralized AI and marketplace. You can do it at kava.io or follow us on Kava Chain at Twitter. All right. Thank you, guys.